Hey, welcome to Mike's Trains and thanks for joining me for another video. As promised last week, these are the picnic tables with umbrellas. I did find a way to make them, and this is the end result. This is how they came out, and I thought I'd show you that first. Don't know why, it just seemed like a good idea. I think they look pretty good. Let me give you a higher up view. So that's more of a down view of them. I think they look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. And the only thing left now is to add some figures sitting. You can see I have a couple on this table here. But add some more walking around in here. And some cars in the parking lot over here. And we can call this area pretty much wrapped up and done. So at this point, why don't we go upstairs and see how I made all of this. Alright, so we're on the workbench, and this is how we're going to build those tables. First I'm going to start with this. This is a picnic tables kit that I bought, and it makes 6 picnic tables, and they look pretty good. I like how they look. So let's look at this. So I've already taken the stuff out of the pack. There are directions here on the back. But this is what you get. You get 2 sheets that look like this. Okay? They look just like this. And these are all the parts for the picnic tables. And you get 2 of these, so there are 6 in the pack. And what we want to do is we want to cut out the parts that are in there. So let's start with the tabletop. So when you look at these, there's a little tab here that didn't get cut. So we're just going to cut that right there and right there, and you can see that pops out. Now before we go any further, I just wanted to show one more thing that I've done. I'm going to be using this wire right here for the poles for the umbrellas. Okay, now this wire is 18 gauge wire. It's probably a little heavy for the umbrellas, but I think it's fine. It works out. It looks fine. It doesn't look too big in there, and it's sturdy enough to not be a problem. So what I did was I took this wire, and I found I have small drill bits, and I drilled a hole in the center of each table. So you can see that hole right there. So that's for the umbrella to go through the tabletop, and you want to do that before you cut all these pieces out. It's much easier while they're in here, and you can actually control the drill. All right, so now we have that cut out, and then in with that piece also comes this, and this is a template. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to take this table, you can see all the lines in the table here, you want to put that face down inside the template right here. And actually before I do that, I'm going to take a little piece of sandpaper, and I'm just going to sand the edges real quick, just to knock off any burrs from the cutting of it. And that's it. That's all I need. I'm going to drop that face down inside the template like this. Like that. Alright. Now we need to cut out the legs. So the legs for the table are right here. Cut that right there. And I believe that should just drop right out. Yeah, just like that. Now we also want to cut out this middle part right here, like that, just like that. So now we have this. Now on this piece you have to be really careful because it's very fragile. Take a pair of tweezers and I can hold this. We want to sand off just the very top layer of this that's going to go against the table so that it sits totally flat. So I'm going to take this on my sandpaper again, like that. Okay, and then we're going to take a little piece of paper and a little bit of CA is what I'm going to use to put these together, or super glue. I use this Gorilla super glue. I'm really liking this stuff. I don't buy the hobby ones anymore. I've been using this and I really like the way it works. So let me get some of this on the paper. Only need a small drop of it. And then we're going to pick this piece up here. And just dip it in the glue. And then into the template it goes, just like this. And that is what's going to line everything up. So that goes like that, and that's it. So now we'll let that dry. I'm going to let that sit for about 15 minutes or so. I want to make sure it's good and solid before we go any further. So let me let that dry, and then we'll come back and go on to the next step. Alright, so these have had a chance to dry now. I'll let them sit for probably 10 minutes, and you can see the legs are on. All looks pretty good so far. So what I'd like to do now is glue the benches onto the seats, onto the tables. So now the benches are in here as well. So this one happened to fall out already, so I'm not going to cut it. But same as before, we'll just cut the little benches right there, right there. Like that. And then I'm going to take a toothpick. I'm going to take some more of this glue, and I'm just going to spread a little bit onto each of the bench hangers there. And now we have a picnic table. Okay. And I think they look pretty good. I like them. I'm very surprised. There's a close-up. I think they look pretty good. I'm very happy with it. So now I've got to let this dry, and then we can start with the umbrellas. Alright, so let's make these umbrellas now. So what I have is I have that 18 gauge wire, some wire cutters, I got a ruler. This is the cover from one of my wife's yogurts. It's one of those foil, heavy foil covers. And what I did was I took a 1/2 inch socket and I made circles all the way around it. This is the diameter of the umbrella. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take some scissors and I'm going to cut the circle out. Like that. So now we have a nice, fairly even half inch, I believe that's a 1/2 inch circle. Now I have this. Now this is where you're kind of on your own. What I need is this dome right here, okay? It has the perfect shape that I was looking for, like an umbrella, right? It starts up at a point and it just curves down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark this kind of in the center. I'm just gonna eyeball a center for this. It's about right there. Okay. And I'm gonna set this little point right on top of that. And I'm just gonna form this to match the roof. And I don't care if I'm bending over edges and all that stuff, doesn't matter. It actually adds to the look, as I found. These little creases and things, they just add to it. It just looks better. So now we have that. And you can see I'm a little bit off-centered. It's not going to matter in the scheme of things once this is done. But you don't want to do what I just did here and crush the edge. So keep that out. So now you have a nicely formed little umbrella. We'll flatten that down a little bit. You know, and if things go wrong, you can always stick it back on top and reform it. Okay, like that. Now the wire, I'm going to cut these at 5/8 of an inch. I'm going to cut one, so I'm going to mark this, and it's just a rough cut, but you want to make sure to cut it long enough, because you can always trim it down later. Okay, so now we have a piece of wire. And all I'm going to do is fill up the point with a little bit of super glue. Right there. And then this is where things get a little bit crazy, because you have to hold this, because I don't have any of the kicker for this to instant dry it, so I have to hold it until it dries, or at least long enough that it'll stand on its own. Now that amount of glue is probably going to take about an hour to full set, so I'm just going to hold this, and then when this is dried, then we'll take it over to the spray booth and get these painted, get this painted up. Alright, so these have all dried up now, and you can kind of see how they're looking. They're actually looking pretty good. So I have it in these clips, one of these clips here, and I'm just going to primer it white. Just light coats. And then we'll let that dry, and then we'll come back and put a color coat on it. Okay, so now I have some red. You can see it in there. And I'm just going to spray this red. And then that's it. That's our umbrella. So what I want to do now is I want to spray the picnic table as well. But let me get my stuff together and then we'll get the picnic table sprayed. Alright, so now we have the picnic table in the spray booth, and I'm just going to give a couple quick shots of some color. Just to give it a little bit different color. And that's it. And that's a flat. This is called Wood. It's from Model Master Acrylic. It's called Wood. And there it is. So now you can see the picnic table. It looks pretty good, I gotta say. So now when the umbrella dries, you can drop the umbrella down through the hole, put some people on the benches, and then you got it. That's it. So anyway, that's it for this week. That's all I've got. Very happy with the results. If you're just finding me for the first time, please, by all means, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Love to have you along. So, anyway, until next time, happy modeling.